her the support, the help that her own mother didn't. She'd made Clint wait to get married until she was finished with school. She'd been strong that way. She'd been determined to forego boyfriends, especially while she was studying. But she hadn't been able to stay away from him. He was so magnetic and happy, and she'd wanted that. As soon as she'd graduated, they'd gotten married. They'd lived in little apartments near the high school, and Ellie had gotten jobs substitute teaching in the area, and then spent a year as a teacher's assistant at the school right near their house. They'd been young when Clint wanted to try for a baby, but he'd been so excited about it. So they'd started trying, and not just for a baby, but also to find a house. They'd found the farmhouse. She'd found out she was pregnant. He'd been the proudest, happiest man alive that day. And 4 weeks later, he'd died. Before they'd moved into their home. Before he'd ever even gotten to hear his child's heartbeat. She'd never had a Christmas in the farmhouse. Her and Amelia's Christmas traditions were built around the Dalton family, and that was okay with Ellie. Her egg collecting was feeling terribly sad at the moment, but she blamed the upcoming Christmas season for that. It was inescapably bittersweet. Always she thought about that first Christmas without him, when she had been 8 months pregnant and so miserable, so alone. Alone, except for Caleb Dalton. The entire Dalton family had been good to her in the years following the loss of Clint, but no one had been quite as good as Caleb. Caleb had been Clint's best friend in the world, a man who was like a brother to him, so he'd said often. He'd talked about Caleb all the time, from the beginning of their relationship. She could still remember going to her first Dalton family barbecue with Clint. He'd been nervous because it had been like meeting his parents, he'd said. All 3 Dalton brothers had presence, a perfect combination of their father Hank's charm and charisma, and their mother Tammy's beauty and quick wit. Caleb had been unlike any man she'd ever met, a daredevil with an easy smile, and he was so big, larger than life, both in height and in presence. He could fix anything. If her car needed a tune-up or an oil change, Caleb could just do it. Why call the landlord when their apartment had an issue? Caleb could always handle it. She'd been in awe of that, the way his hands worked to puzzle together anything that might have been broken. She could see why Clint loved the family the way he did, and Caleb in particular. She'd bonded with him easily, quickly. And now, Caleb had become her best friend in the entire world. She'd always liked him, but he became something more during these long, lonely years. He'd become her rock, her salvation. He was always on hand in an emergency. If she needed cold medicine in the middle of the night for Amelia, yet didn't want to drag her little girl to the store, she could call Caleb, and he would go get the cold medicine. He would bring it to her. If she wasn't well, he would be the first person to come by with soup and to make sure that Amelia was taken care of while she convalesced. He had built her chicken coop, had been the one to help her figure out what you were supposed to do with chickens in the first place. And when she had partnered with his brother Gabe to help start the school that she now taught at on the Dalton family ranch, Caleb had immediately partnered with her too. He had helped make her dream a reality, the moment that she was able to have dreams again. She felt much happier thinking about Caleb. He was definitely a lot more of a safe space than Christmas could ever be. As if thinking of him conjured him up, she heard the sound of truck tires on gravel, mixed with the sound of an old engine from a Ford F-150. It was Caleb, coming home with Amelia. Amelia had spent the day with Tammy. The school that Ellie had been part of founding, and that she worked at full-time, specifically geared toward troubled boys, was on the Dalton family ranch, and Hank and Tammy Dalton lived there in a large house. Tammy had graciously offered to watch Amelia after preschool on the days when Ellie worked.